Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. From Route 9 to Route 96, from Route 115 to Route 50, I hope you're taking good care of yourself. Mask up when you can, when you're around other people. But, let's get back to some Columbus, shall we? Okay. The first installment that we have is his journal from the 17th of October. At noon, set sail from the village where we had anchored and watered. Kept on our course to sail around the island, the wind southwest and south. My intention was to follow the coast of the island to the southeast as it runs in that direction, being informed by the Indians I have on board, besides another whom I met with here, that in such course I should meet with the island they call Samoet, where gold is found. I was further informed by Martin Alonso Pinzon, captain of the Pinta, on board of which I had sent 3 of the Indians, that he had been assured by one of them I might sail around the island sooner by going to the northwest. Seeing that the wind would not enable me to proceed in that direction, I first contemplated, and finding it favorable for the one thus recommended to me, I steered to the northwest, and arriving at the extremity of the island at 2 leagues distance, I discovered a remarkable haven with 2 entrances, formed by an island at its mouth. Both very narrow, the inside capacious enough for 100 ships, were there sufficient depth of water. I thought it advisable to examine it, and therefore anchored outside and went with the little boats, rowboats, to go sound it, but found the water too shallow. As I had first imagined it to be the mouth of a river, I had directed the casks to be carried ashore for fresh water, which, being done, we discovered 8 or 10 men, who straightway came up to us and directed us to a village in the neighborhood. I accordingly sent my crews there in quest of fresh water, part of them armed, and the rest with the casks. And the place being some distance away, it kept us here for a couple of hours. In the meantime, I went around the groves, which present the most enchanting sight ever witnessed, a degree of greenery prevailing like that of May in Spain and Andalusia, the trees as different from those of our country as day is from night. And the same may be said of the fruit, the weeds, the stones, everything else. A few of the trees, however, seem to be of a species similar to what we can find in Castile, although with great dissimilarity, but the others so unlike that it's even impossible to find any resemblance to ones from our own land. The natives we found were like those already described, as to the personal appearance and manners, and naked like the rest. Whatever they possessed, they happily bartered for whatever we chose to give them. I saw a boy of the crew purchasing javelins from them with bits of platters and our broken glass. Those who went for water informed me that they had entered the natives' houses and found them very clean and neat, with beds and coverings of cotton nets. Their houses are all built in the shape of tents, with very high chimneys. None of the villages which I saw contained more than 12 or 15 of them. Here it was remarked that the married women wore cotton breeches, pants, but the younger females were without, except a few who were as old as 18 years old. Dogs were seen of a large and small size. Sorry, a little bit of traffic going by. And one of the men had hanging at his nose a piece of gold half as big as a castillo, with letters written on it. I endeavored to purchase it from him in order to ascertain what sort of money they use, but he refused to part with it. I endeavored, having taken our water on board, I set sail and proceeded northwest until I had surveyed the coast to the point where it begins to run east to west. Here the Indians gave me to understand that this island was smaller than Samoet, and that I had better return in order to reach it sooner. The wind died away, and then sprang up from the west-northwest, which was against the course that we were pursuing. We therefore hove about and steered various courses through the night from east to south, standing off the island, the weather being cloudy and thick. It rained violently from midnight till near day, and the sky still remains clouded. We remain off the southeast part of the island, where I expect to anchor and stay until the weather grows clear, when I shall steer for the other islands I am in quest of. Every day that I've been in the Indies, it has rained, more or less. I assure your highnesses that these lands are the most fertile, temperate, level, and beautiful countries in the world. Friday, 19th of October. In the morning we got underway, and I ordered the Pinta to steer east-southeast, and the Nina south-southeast, proceeding myself to the southeast. The other vessels I directed to keep on the courses prescribed until noon, and then rejoin me. Within 3 hours, we saw an island to the east, towards which we directed our course, and all 3 ships arrived there before noon, at the northern extremity, where a rocky islet and reef extended towards the north, with another between them and the main island. The Indians on board the ships called this island Saumete. I named it Isabella. It lies westerly from the island of Fernandina, so Ferdinand and Isabella, both names here. His king and queen, he's naming islands for them. And the coast extends from the islet 12 leagues west, to a cape which I called Cape Hermoso, it being a beautiful round headland with a bold shore free from shoals. Part of the shore is rocky, but the rest of it, like most of the coast here, a sandy beach. Here we anchored till morning. The island is the most beautiful that I have yet seen, the trees in great number, flourishing and lofty. The land is higher than the other islands, and exhibits an eminence which, though it can't be called a mountain, yet adds a beauty to its appearance, and gives an indication of streams of water in the interior. From this part, towards the northeast, is an extensive bay with many large and thick groves. I wished to anchor here and land, so that I might examine those beautiful regions, but I found the coast shoal, without a possibility of casting anchor except at a distance from the shore. The wind being favorable, I came to a cape which I named Hermoso, where I anchored today. This is so beautiful a place, as well as the neighboring regions, that I know not in which course to proceed first. My eyes have never tired with viewing such delightful greenness, and of a species so new and dissimilar to that of our country. I have no doubt that there are trees and herbs here which would be of great value in Spain, as dyeing materials, medicine, spices, etc. But I am humiliated that I have no acquaintance with them whatsoever. Upon our arrival here, we experienced the most sweet and delightful odor from the flowers or trees of the island. Big trucks here on Broadway. Tomorrow morning, before we depart, I intend to land, to see what can be found in the neighborhood. There's no village, but farther within the island there is one, where our Indians inform us we will find the king. And he has much gold. I shall penetrate so far as to reach the village, and see or speak with the king, who, as they tell us, governs all these islands, and goes dressed with a great deal of gold on him. I don't, however, give much credit to these stories. I understand the natives imperfectly, and perceive them to be so poor that just a little bit of gold appears to them like a great amount. This island appears to me to be a separate one from Saumete, and I even think there may be others between them. I am not solicitous to examine particularly everything here, which indeed couldn't be done in 50 years, despite what my desire is to make all possible discoveries, and return to your highnesses, if it please our Lord, in the month of April. But in truth, should I meet with gold or spices in great quantity, then I'll remain here to collect as much as possible. For this purpose, I am proceeding solely in quest of those things. And here we have the last journal entry from Columbus that you'll need to put him on trial or to defend him on trial. Sunday, 21st of October. At 10 o'clock, we arrived at a cape of the island, and we anchored the other vessels in the company. Having dispatched a meal, I went ashore, and found no habitation except for a single house, and that without its occupant. We had no doubt that the people had fled in terror at our approach, as the house was completely furnished. I suffered nothing to be touched. I didn't let my crew members grab anything and keep it. I went with my captains and some of my crew to go out and view the country. This island even exceeds the others in beauty and fertility. Groves of lofty and flourishing trees are abundant, as also large lakes surrounded and overhung by the foliage in a most enchanting manner. Everything looked as green as in April in Andalusia. The melody of the birds was so exquisite that one was never willing to part from that spot, and the flocks of parrots obscured the heavens. The diversity in the appearance of the feathered tribe from those of our country is extremely curious. 1,000 different sorts of trees with their fruit were to be met with, and of a wonderfully delicious odor. It was a great affliction to me to be ignorant of their species, for I am very certain they are all valuable. Specimens of them and of the plants I have preserved. Going around one of these lakes, I saw a snake, which we killed, and I have kept the skin for your highnesses. Upon being discovered, he took to the water, where we followed him, because it wasn't too deep, and we killed him with our lances. He was 7 spans in length. I think there are more about. I discovered also the aloe tree, and am determined to take on board the ship tomorrow 10 quintals of it, probably vials. As I am told, it is valuable. While we were in search of some good water, we came upon a village of the natives half a league from the place where the ships lay. The inhabitants, on discovering us, abandoned their houses and took to flight, carrying the goods that they had to the mountains. I ordered that nothing that they left should be disturbed or taken by my men, not even of the value as much as a pin. Presently we saw several of the natives come towards our party, and one of them came up to us, to whom we gave some hawk's bells and glass beads. And he was delighted. We asked him in return for water, and after I had gone on board the ship, the natives came down to the shore with their canteens full, and showed great pleasure in presenting us with the water. I ordered more glass beads to be given to them, and they promised to return the next day. It's my wish to fill the water casks on our ships at this place, which, being executed, I shall depart immediately, if the weather's good, and sail around the island, until I succeed in meeting with the king, in order to see if I can get any of the gold which I hear he possesses. Afterwards I'll set sail for another very large island, which I believe to be Cipango, according to the indications I received from the Indians on board. They call the island Colba, and say there are many large ships and sailors there. Another island they name Bozio, and inform me it's very large, and others lie in our course. I shall examine all the others on this passage, and according as I find gold or spices in abundance, I shall determine what to do. At all events, I am determined to proceed on to the main continent of Asia, and visit the city of Gizeh, where I shall deliver the letters of your highnesses to the great Khan, and demand an answer, with which I shall return. So that's the end of the original sources from Columbus that we have in our study. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this is his journal, his diary, his official journal that he's going to use to talk to the King and Queen of Spain with. And so, will he edit? Does he edit the things that he says? Does he try to tightly control the information that gets out to the King and Queen? He certainly says constantly throughout that he is being nice to the Native Americans because he wants future explorers who come here to be well received. So, ultimately, his motivation, though, is gold. Take a look at the crimes against humanity list, 1 through 11. Is he committing crimes against humanity? Are these things that are done in a widespread manner? Are they part of a system, an organized plan? Are they done specifically with his knowledge? So these are the factors, these are the considerations that you need to keep in mind. Sorry, a little bit of a cough today. As we're going through all this, remember, pause the video whenever you want to, whenever you need to, watch the video again, so that you can get more quotes that you think prove innocence or guilt put into your document, your chart, Because in the end, I want you to go over all these things that make him sound innocent, that make him sound guilty, so that you can come up with a determination of which team you think you want to be on. And then the writing process starts. So, take good care. From Holton to Hutchinson, from Cumberland to Kansas, have a lovely day.